Acts 17 starts off with Paul and Silas preaching the message of Jesus to two separate regions, and those are Thessalonica and Berea, and these groups have two totally opposite heart postures to receiving this message. Look at what verse 5 says about the first group in Thessalonica after they've received the message of the good news. But the Jews were jealous, and taking some wicked men of the rabble, they formed a mob, set the city in an uproar, and attacked the house of Jason, seeking to bring them out to the crowd. So basically their hearts were hardened, and they were so stubborn that they wouldn't even open up their minds to receive this message and then check it out for themselves. But look at what it says in verse 11 about the people in Berea. Now these Jews were more noble than those in Thessalonica. They received the word with all eagerness, examining the scriptures daily to see if these things were so. Saying their hearts were open, and if it checks out, it checks out. If not, the scriptures are going to prove why Jesus isn't the way. Which group do you fall into? Because I can speak from personal experience. As growing up Jewish, I was in the first group, and that's part of my testimony, is that my heart was hardened to Jesus. I actually said I'd never be a Christian, but as I saw other people walking with something that I didn't have, I opened my heart to have a similar heart posture to the second group in Berea, which basically means I gave Jesus a chance, and sure enough, he showed up. So I pray that that small portion of my testimony encourages you to open up your heart if you've already shut him out before giving him a chance. At this point in the video, you may be saying, I believe in God, I just don't know who he is. Maybe it's just the universe, or an idea of something greater that we just don't know. Well, there's good news for you because this chapter talks about it. So the chapter continues with Paul walking around the streets of Athens, and he saw that the city was filled with idols. And look at what it says in verse 17, describing what Paul was doing there. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the marketplace every day with those who happened to be there. Basically telling the people of Athens that they're worshiping false gods and there is one true God. And look at what verse 19 says. And they took him and brought him to the Aeropagus, saying, may we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting. The Aeropagus is a physical place and a council of elite thinkers. So they were curious as to what Paul was actually teaching them. So when Paul addresses the council, he tells them that he notices they are very religious. But I really want to hit on verse 23. For as I passed along and observed the objects of your worship, I found also an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God. What therefore you worship as unknown, this I proclaim to you. And then proceeded to tell them that he had the answer of their unknown God, and his name is Jesus. And it ends with verse 34 that says this, but some men joined him and believed, among whom also were Dionysius the Areopagite and a woman named Damaris, and others with them. And this stems back to them having the heart posture to receive the good news. So if you find yourself in one of these two groups, one, you've just completely shut Jesus out and haven't even given him a chance, or two, you believe in a higher power or spiritual things, you just don't know what to call him, then I pray this video encourages you to open up your heart to Jesus and allow him to show himself, and if he truly is the way, he will. And I will see you tomorrow for day 18, where we will go through chapter 18 together. God bless.